Women at the center stage of any organization deserve just one thing, like every other person, a chance to prove themselves. Once they are able to, there should be no deterrent boundary to stop them. And with that, we bring in our next guest. The person that I'm speaking about is Shaily Mehrotra. She is the co-founder and the CEO of Fix Derma India, one of India's fastest growing, clinically approved, and scientist backed, dermatologically tested skincare brands, which is now being supplied to over 40 countries internationally. Welcome up on stage Shaily Mehrotra and my colleague Rakshita Mishra to have an interesting conversation on business and empowerment and more.
Thank you so much, Gesu, and thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for staying for this session here. And it's going to be very, very insightful, very, very interesting. A lot of lessons from Ms. Mehrotra's very, very decorated journey so far. I think it's just begun. It's been a decade, ma'am. You are the co-founder, CEO of Fix Derma India, and starting off from Varanasi and going on to build, going on to first work with international brands in Southeast Asia, and then you establish this global brand. What really struck you in your mind that I need to do this?
So we have lived in Philippines, Thailand, and Cambodia for a very long time, and we have seen people using skincare almost every day, and it's just not an application for them. It's almost like a ritual. It's like a part of their daily routine, and when back then, I felt that we are decades behind. Like India was still, if I talk about skincare, we were just using skincare when a dermatologist was writing to us, right, through a prescription. Otherwise, we had no clue about sunscreen or retinol-based creams or anything. And we started Fixderma in 2010, and the name is Fix Derma, right? So the intent was behind the name, fixing your skin. And of course, e-commerce was not there. So we started our journey by reaching out to dermatologists across India. I started with only Delhi NCR in the beginning, and slowly we penetrated across India.
To build a brand that competes on a global stage, and when it comes with research, when it comes with a scientific backing, what does it really take, especially for someone who has established this brand in India as an Indian brand?
So that's very interesting because, see, when we were in Southeast Asia, I always felt that why no Indian brand is present on the shelf. Why we never tried to, sell in international market. So that itch was always there. And when we started Fixderma, our idea was first, to start exporting, to be present in international market. For that, you really needed a good packaging and complete control over formulation. So we started our exports quite early in 2013, and that time only we established a small manufacturing unit, and again a better manufacturing unit in 2020. And there's always a question asked that why you thought of a manufacturing unit. The reason was complete control over the formulation and the packaging part. Because see, when you are planning to export, you should, your product has to be foolproof. Whatever goes into it, whatever claims you are making, should be backed by evidence and documentation. So then only you can start exporting, right? And how we started the journey? Definitely, since we have stayed there for a very long time, we had very good networks, so we used that. And later on, we started participating in exhibitions, in expos across the world. And from there, we started, getting distributors, and that's how we built it. So I'll tell you a very interesting story. We got a call from Ministry of External Affairs almost 10 years back. So that we have been selected for an award. So I thought it's a hoax call because we were not a big company. We had very small turnover. And I just thought, how can we be, selected for an award? And then I got a telephone call that you have been selected. And finally, we got an invitation. So that was in Taj, Mumbai, and given by Dr. Sitaraman. She was not finance minister then. And it was such an, honor to receive the award that time. And that day I learned, that in our category, especially skincare or cosmetics, there are hardly any Indian companies who are exporting. So we qualified. Even with that number, we qualified. I think our turnover was, our exports was just 7 crores, imagine. And we were qualified for exports award because there were hardly any companies. Still, I don't think any skincare company is looking at international market, whatever be the reason. But we have a very different approach. That's why, our products are sold through dermatologists, and whichever distributor we find, even in international market, they also sell to the same channel. And for that, you need to have a foolproof product. That's why we are, I think, the first company to receive 2 patents, and 2 are in pipeline. And we also do a lot of research and journal work with our products.
So from research, right, from research to manufacturing, and this was a, bootstrapping kind of a company because you did it all on yourself, with yourself. It was not, there's not much of external funding that was there. So how important you feel is for any woman entrepreneur today to have the financial control? I would want to know your personal experience. Where did that come from for you?
See, when we started, we were a very small team, a small office. And slowly and gradually you grow and you try to evolve. And I always say that every entrepreneur, it's again male or female, you have to evolve at times. You have to have that shift, from how you started to a bigger company. So when you are a small company, your priorities are different. When you reach a certain scale and you become a bit of a category leader, then your priorities change. Then you start moving to product to brand, right? From hustle to a more proper culture. From you start adopting systems. So I think it's a journey. Slowly you learn. The operational efficiency comes much later once you start the business. In the beginning, survival is the most important part. But these operational efficiency, financial efficiency comes much later. And getting the right team, of course, helps you to build it. So as a founder or owner, you don't know everything. And you shouldn't think also like that you have 12 hands and you can handle everything. You have to get the right people and right team to build it.
As a, in leadership, what do you think was, one of the most defining moments, be it in terms of the challenges that you sailed through or when achievements came to you and then, that was added responsibility now to take it forward from there on. So what do you feel about being at the helm of affairs, being in charge, being in control, if any such moment that you can recollect today that, you told yourself that today, from here on, I have to make it, I have to carry this forward and I have a great responsibility as the leader of this company?
I think it's almost that feeling is always every single day, right? So you can't, you don't claim it like, leadership or let's say, it's in every single day you have to claim it. The responsibility is definitely there because right now the company has almost 800 people and salespeople, including our factory staff and everyone. So you have that responsibility of their family, their career and everything. So it comes automatically, because see, when the company has slowly grown in last 15 years, so it has evolved from a small company to a bigger size. So slowly you learn and you start taking the responsibility at your stride, yeah.
And responsibility as someone owning a skincare brand today, ma'am, because we talk about body image, we talk about how, women are now starting to, understand that they have to be comfortable in their skin. But when skincare comes in as a brand, what is your proposition on that front?
See, I again would like to say that again, that Fix Derma, the name is very clear. We fix your derm. We don't believe in that we make people fairer or, be happy the way you are. I always believe that you should have a healthy skin rather than, a fairer skin. So it should be clean and healthy. That will make you look more pretty, or I'll say it's about girls or boys, anyone. Healthy skin always looks much better. So you should focus on that. And as a company also, we never, promote fairness or anything like that. You should be happy the way you are, because no topical application can change your complexion, right? If your body has a certain melanin production style, it will remain like that. Maybe for a certain period of time you can a few tone lighter, right? Your skin tone can be a lighter, but it will come back.
Right.
So I think just be happy the way you are.
Right. There's a lot of, social media consumption that propagates a type of skincare. There's K-beauty. You mentioned about, what you witness outside, and that was missing in the country. But we see that a lot of fads and trends also about a certain kind of a skincare regime, 7-step, 10-step, and, having a glass skin, and people running after products that are marketed today via social media especially. Where do you see that there should be, what would you tell today women who actually, or consumers in general, when it comes to skincare, what needs to be kept in mind?
I think a very simple routine, if everybody can follow, will give you a, you will thank yourself later in your, later age. Just follow a very simple skin routine, maybe a CMS. CMS is cleanser, moisturizer, and a sunscreen, and a cleanser and moisturizer and a serum in the evening. So I think that's enough if the girls and boys who are sitting here just can follow that. And boys, if only they can use a cleanser and a moisturizer, or a cleanser or a sunscreen, I think they'll do a good job. Because boys should take care of their skin more than girls. You must be surprised by that, because they exfoliate their skin every single day by shaving, right? So shaving makes your skin very dry. So just a simple moisturizer will help you. But I think it's coming slowly. It will take more time.
So, you've done through the research, you've been an entrepreneur, you've also been awarded the Women Entrepreneur of the Year. And do you see there are some changes that still need to happen, systemic changes, so as to, encourage more women to build businesses and scale businesses?
I think it has already started happening, but see, again, India is not Gurgaon, Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Hyderabad, right? India is beyond that. So there, a lot of changes has to happen. The whole conditioning of parents as well as the population has to change. And it starts from home, I think. We really need to start working at home, start treating the girl and a boy at the same level. Both are equally smart. So it has to start from the home. It has already started, I think, started happening, because if I see a lot of changes are happening in 2-tier, 3-tier cities, but still a long way to go. A long way to go. And I was saying that media can play a very big role in it, because media does have huge impact on society. Yeah.
That's why we are having the summit and these conversations today here on this stage, ma'am. So, we are talking to the women achievers, the disruptors. In your understanding, who truly is a disruptor, or what truly is disruption when it comes to entrepreneurship, not just in skincare, but in general when it comes to women-led enterprises?
I think there's so many right now. So many women are coming forward and disrupting in so many categories, if I'll say. So earlier the categories were different. So if you see in AI, right, and even in IT softwares, so many girls are there, and they are bringing the changes. They are coming in forefront. And since I've chaired Shark Tank India, so I'll say that Shark Tank India has also played a very important role in last 5 years. Since it has started, people have started, accepting and understood entrepreneurship, which was not there in a country like us. Nobody could ever thought that, a Shark Tank India type of program will become so successful. So definitely a change is happening.
Yeah. But even before being a shark, we saw that, without much of advertisement and no star-led advertisement or, any sort of promotions, that your brand has established itself as a credible name. What is your next goal as far as, making it bigger is concerned?
Whatever we are doing, going on the same journey. So there is a ad of Johnny Walker, keep walking. I think you have to keep walking towards your goal. So for a founder and entrepreneur, is always, whatever you are doing is not enough. So you want to do more, better, better brand building, reaching out to more people. I want more skincare awareness in India. We have just started. So we also have launched a very interesting moisturizing range for patients, for people who are under medication, any type of medication. They are diabetes or cancer patients or anyone. Their skin is very dry. So we actually also do private label, a very small percentage of our total business. We make for Australian government. So I was very surprised that they gave a big tub of moisturizing lotion to every patient who is in the hospital or outside, free. So the idea came from there. We should also do something like that. So we have launched a product, and we are also reaching out to hospitals. Because, you know, if your skin is itchy and very dry, you don't sleep well, right? So I think awareness is extremely important. It's coming, and I think slowly it's going to get better.
Right. And what is your advice, ma'am, to those viewers who are listening to you, who are aspiring to become entrepreneurs? What is your piece of advice to them?
Yeah, because earlier Khushbu was there, and she was saying that you have to dream big. Of course, dream big, but dream with your eyes open. Right? So just dreaming won't help. You have to dream with your eyes open and do all your homework properly before you jump into it.
Well, many thanks, Ms. Mehrotra, for joining us here. Shelly Mehrotra, co-founder, CEO of Fix Derma here in conversation with us on how she disrupted the derma space and continues to be leader here as an entrepreneur of the country. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's an honor having
Thank you so much for having me.